Hi, I'm Francois, World Director at Exoborne. In this extraction shooter, we take the weather very seriously. In fact, so much so, we've designed the entire world around it. Let's dive deeper into what the forces of nature have cooking for you. Exoborne is the story of rebirth, a corporation that has tried to save the world from climate change and has miserably failed us. In Exoborne, you play in a world that has already been hit by what we call the Great Collapse, a massive chain of events, really, of climate change, and as such, you experience this world a few years after this Great Collapse has happened.
The climate disaster dictates everything we do, and it's something that we always take into consideration when it comes to the art and the art direction. We have a few standout landmarks, we have a few things that really sell the game in the world that we're trying to create. I'm just going to take one example here, which is the oil rig that we have in a map. It was ripped out in a storm and in a flood. It's then cut across the land, tearing it up, leaving a big scar in it, and then ended up lodged inside a little bit of a forest on a mountainside. And then when the water receded, it left this scorched earth, oily patches behind. And then you have the eroded coastline that is almost gone.
In Exoborne, forces of nature, they are not only defining our world, but also affecting your gameplay experience. It affects the way you move, the way you engage in combat, the tactical choices that you have to make so that you are able to extract your loot safely. The lightning storm will literally blow you away. Your glider becomes active in the strong wind, and you have the opportunity to move very fast with the wind, not against it. Also, be very careful with the lightning strikes. They will hit your enemies, but they will hit you as well. Multiple tornadoes spawning at the same time, and you're in the center of them. What are you gonna do then? Well, first, use your glider and use it carefully, so you stay away from the center of the tornado, which will deal a lot of damage. Secondly, try to chase them around, because they might drop some interesting things. All of a sudden, there's this deep, deep fog around you. You can't see anything. A thermoscope would come in handy in this situation. No matter your equipment, you still need to be very, very careful. You don't know what combat encounter it's gonna be right around the corner. When the heavy rain starts, your glider becomes very inefficient. This means that combat is pushed to the ground. Also, heavy rain is super loud, so it's gonna be harder to hear footsteps and other things moving around it, so watch out.
In Exoborne, the forces of nature are emergent. That means that, for example, if we have fire in the world and we have a strong tornado coming in, that tornado will transform into a firenado, and that will burn everything in its path. Depending on how you customize and specialize your Exo-Rig, you have different synergies with a strong force of nature. For example, you can customize your Exo-Rig with modules and abilities to have synergies with fire, or with lightning, or with wind.
The weather and the way it's working, it's like a character in its own. You have to make sure that you know where the tornadoes are. You have to make sure that when you're in the dense fog that you listen and use sound to your advantage. You have to think about all of these things while playing. And we want the world to feel dynamic and be a place that changes during a session. It makes it feel alive, and that's really, really cool.
Thank you for watching. We certainly hope to meet you on the battlefield. Please follow us on socials, sign up for our next playtest, and of course, wishlist us on Steam.